watching Weasel News.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us for this town hall meeting. My name is Bex Lawson. I'm Speaker of the Legislature. This is an opportunity for the government to come face to face with the people of San Andreas and to understand how we are working to serve you, as well as give your feedback on our current operations and anything you would like to see in the future. We have a number of government departments here to represent themselves. I will let them introduce themselves, and one at a time, we will go over updates from each department before we open up to a broader Q&A with the public and press. I believe we have Safa here.
Hello.
Hello. Are we starting with us then, Bex?
Yep, you're up at
All
bat.
right. Hello, I am Vlad Pachenko, Chief Pilot of SAFA. A few things tonight. We are running the preliminary of the new flight school next week. We will be having announcements coming out following that on the official scheduling moving forward.
Thank you so much. I believe we have a representative for the Rangers here.
Can everybody hear me? Okay.
A little bit.
Gonna need to speak up a little bit more.
Just a little bit, Chase.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. Anyway, we don't have a lot. The only thing that really is of note in mentioning, other than business as usual for us, is our applications are opening here relatively soon. I don't have an exact time frame, but we are working down a checklist of things to get finished before applications are opening. So within the next 30 days, I would presume. So for those who are interested, may be looking forward to that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. LEO. Let's hear from any LEO officers who are present and interested in speaking.
I guess I'll speak here. I'm Commissioner Barry Hill, San Andreas State Police. No new big updates. However, I'm sure the Chief of Police, Julie, would like to talk about our training process and how it's we're currently accepting applicants still. So those are still open in case you guys are interested. But that's all I have that are updates in law enforcement from my side.
Hello, Chief of Police, Julie Lee here. Applications are still open. We are still receiving some, and we are still going through them. Okay? And we've got new cadets on the streets. Be kind to them. They're still learning. That's all from me.
Thank you. The Department of Commerce and Labor.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wyatt McKenzie. I'm a senior board member with DOCL. Couple little quick updates from us. Or I guess a couple stats and then a new update from us. So in the last month, we have approved 43 new businesses. That brings our total businesses to 344. And then we've also accepted 45 new premises, which brings us to 283 total premises. And then we have a total team at DOCL of 12. That roughly brings us to about 20 businesses per DOCL employee. So we're getting better at responding to requests and things like that in a timely manner. But obviously we are still a very small team in a very small department, so your patience is always appreciated as we go through those delays and things like that, getting those systems installed for you. The other thing we wanted to share this evening is our liquor licenses. We've had those closed for some time. We are looking at reopening those in the very near future, probably sometime this weekend. A brief TLDR of how that's going to look is majority of businesses will have the option to sell liquor, depending on their scope and things like that, but it's going to be much more broad than it used to be. And then only specific retailers such as wineries or such as breweries will be able to import that liquor. Obviously, our restaurants and our bars will still be able to import that, but this will open up an opportunity for other businesses to import special kind of liquors and things like that and sell that to their clients. There'll be a whole memo on that, things like that coming out later on this week. But yeah, that's just a little bit of some DOCL news.
Thank you so much for the update. Do we have anyone here from the Department of Justice?
I'm Anthony Lankowski, acting state attorney, and after the resignation of Liam McGrath. Not much from us. Primarily just we're hiring at the moment, all experienced like paralegal, prosecutors, bar certed or not. Yeah, that's pretty much it from us.
Thank you. Anyone from medical services? Or any other department I have forgotten to call on?
MCD are here. We're here. MCD, me, Sarai, and Amara are all here. We have nothing to add, but we're here.
All right, so we will be doing a quick two-part update on the legislative branch. First, our secretary, Maxine Finch, will be giving an update on our day-to-day. So, for instance, we have passed some new bills and our next priorities.
Hello, everybody. Legislative branch is gone under work and has passed proposed 6 bills. We have 3 passed so far, with 2 passed with 1 vetoed, and 2 more bills still to be discussed. 261 is still under judicial review, primarily due to the fact that initially when it was proposed, it did not have a bill to replace copyright. However, HR 266 will now replace it. And so we're waiting to see if the judicial review goes through or not. As for the daily activities, all legislators have been making meetings with the public. Justin Lee has met with people regarding copyright. Bex Lawson and I have met with people regarding legislative overhaul, including medical, rangers, Board of Education, and so on. And we're aiming to, if you look at the meeting notes for this week, 2 days ago, we are looking to reviewing all that and potentially repealing a bunch of some bills and making into one master bill for clarity. And other than that, we are going to continue the same kind of conversation that we did last 2 weeks. That's all for the legislative branch.
Thank you so much. To give a quick update on the legislative overhaul and what you can expect from it, this is a project that I have begun in cooperation with the federal government. I have so far met with the leadership of SAFA and medical services. I'm also planning on meeting with everyone I can in the government to ensure a complete overhaul of our core legislation to lead to a more functional government. For instance, the state currently has 2 fire departments. So far, I have cleared out half of the legislative library because they were criminal amendments to a penal code that does not exist anymore, repealed bills, or otherwise made redundant with existing government documentation. The effort continues. I would like to hear from any department. There are a few departments I haven't had the chance to speak with, and I was informed to do so now. I'm not at the cabinet meeting, so I'll take the opportunity to keep that brief and hopefully not bore anyone. But looking at LEO, your bills seem to be in generally good order. Were there any legislative improvements, inclusions, anything that you need for your day-to-day operations changed?
Not off the top of our head, Ms. Lawson. However, it was very good to see that new canine bill get passed with law enforcement canines through the government. So thank you guys for that. Definitely helped a lot.
Absolutely. We're here for any rapid iterations on the bills that need to be made for things like that. And we do love dogs.
We all love dogs.
Wyatt, DocHole also seems to have your legislation in fairly good order.
Yeah. There's a couple small things we're looking at getting changed. It's a lot of phrasing and things like that. Overall, our bill's in good order. We just kind of want to take a deeper look into our auditing sections and things like that. We're not too rushed to get that done. We're still kind of reviewing it internally, seeing if there's anything that we need to get changed. But we plan on approaching you guys hopefully in the next week or two about that. So.
Perfect. Thank you for that update. When it comes to bills that are currently on the record but need to be repealed, we are doing a review. Now that we have removed redundant or unnecessary legislation, the legislature's next effort is going to be identify bills that need updates, bills that need to be repealed, and bills that are redundant. For instance, to Wyatt and the executive branch, you may have some clarity on this. The Public Debt Act, that is H.R. 029, the Debt Relief Act, that allows for citizens to essentially apply, this is obviously an oversimplification, but to apply for bankruptcy. Are you aware of this bill being used or it being brought up in business or anything to do with this on the records?
I do not believe any business has declared bankruptcy. I have seen over the years a couple dockets come out for individuals filing bankruptcy, but it's not been too often. And I don't have specific stats on that, but I have seen it used, but not quite often.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Moving on, there is the Exemplary Public Servants Act, which grants the executive branch the opportunity to reward citizens of merit who have achieved something in the state. Is this something that the executive branch under Governor Avery used at all?
I don't believe so. Gracie, did you see him use this or Link?
Repeat the question.
Yes, so there is a bill. It is the Exemplary Public Servants Act, which was about having awards that the government would distribute to citizens who had performed considerable public service or were of certain merit.
An answer for this, actually. Hi, it's Adrian. The last time that those awards were used was during Richard Starr's and my term, but they were used. I think we gave out 5 of them during our term. So, our terms. Yeah.
The Promoting Recycling Act. This is something that would lead to recycling paying out more. It was related to specifically the recycling plants. This is HR 79. And it's between the state, specifically the government, so the executive branch, and the recycling plants. This has not been repealed, so is it currently active? Can you speak to that at all?
I'm sorry, who is this directed to?
The executive branch. Anyone who feels competent in answering.
I don't particularly have an answer for it. I don't recall this being used during the Avery term.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to things like that, we will be looking at the potential of appealing them or rewriting them to make them more consistent. This includes the State Library Act, HR 113. I've discussed it with the executive branch briefly. So this is the bill that promoted a salary of $75,000 a month to the state library. It has not been repealed, and I believe it has been unpaid for 14 or 19 months. So I'm wondering what the executive movement is on that right now and what information you have collected about whether it has been paid and where those records are.
I'm sorry, was this another question to the executive branch on the fund? Doesn't that go to the treasury, the person who would be paying out the finances for that?
Well, this would be a state department, which would be paid by the executive branch.
That's not correct.
Oh, is it? I apologize. It's a 113. So we spoke
The
with...
state library board no longer exists.
State library board no longer exists. Okay, because Treasurer Dimmick did say that no payments have left the legislature.
I believe that's the Board of Education now, which.
No, it's okay, sir. This is very exciting. I understand. So I believe we will need to figure out, one, what entity currently exists for the state library, 2, its relation to the Board of Education, and 3, why a bill promising the department $75,000 a month was signed yet never paid.
Is that something you'd like the executive to answer?
It's just a statement. It's the sort of thing I would have brought up during a private meeting, but the cabinet meeting was closed, and I haven't had success with meeting privately with the executive. So
yeah, we did. We met 2 Sundays ago.
I'm happy.
We literally talked with you about the about your library, your work on the Library of Bills.
Yeah,
we had a private meeting.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. This is specifically about the Library Act.
I got you, but you were making it sound like we never talked, so I just wanted to clarify.
I apologize. I did not mean to imply you were inactive. I was specifically speaking about the time period since we first spoke about this act and today.
Got you.
And one final question. The Penal Code Committee, this would go to, I believe, the Department of Justice or the executive branch. Whoever feels better to speak on it.
Neither would be Saba, predominantly.
Okay, so it's under...
Gracie's in charge of the Penal Code Review Committee.
Oh, sorry, my apologies, yeah, sorry.
So may I ask what the status of that is, how often it's been meeting, any recommended changes?
So obviously I've just taken this over as Lieutenant Governor. I am currently working to get everyone together so we can have our first meeting in the next 7 days.
Awesome, thank you so much. That answers all of my questions. Apologies for making the public sit through that. I know it's a bit of a snooze. We can move on to a question and answer period. First, we will allow the press to ask any questions, and then the public. Okay, well, the floor is open. If any member of the public would like to discuss any current legislation, if they would like to ask questions of any present department, or to give input on any part of living in the city.
Hi, I can speak. I know you mentioned if any departments hadn't gone, but I thought I was going to let you guys kind of go through your process.
I apologize. I sincerely, I might have just skipped over that entirely. It's my first time running these in a while. Please go ahead.
Right. All right. For the executive side of things, Link, I don't know if you're thinking really heavy. I was going to let you go first with some of the things you're working on.
Hey. All right, so some of the things I'm working on, we're making sure some of the notaries, I'm standing on the table. We're making sure that notaries are all handled. There was some issues with the Judge McLemore, so we brought in Judge Clarkson as well to assist with notaries. Let me actually, I had some notes, hang on. Yes, we are also working with some parties to set up some proper means of identifying religious groups. Things that have to do with HR 109. We're just going to look over that. We're going to set up some committee things. There are some things in that HR that are outdated, such as some names, dates, times, things like that. So we're going to play around with that. We're going to make sure everything's good with that. But that's also just to make sure that religious parties can be seen in the eyes of the state. And so everyone will have some input on that. That's just a work in progress, still being worked on. So nothing too out of the ordinary there. It's just a process to make that happen. And then something we're also working on is a little bit of fireside chat action, where this is an opportunity. We're going to start here just with the executive branch. This is something that could open up to other departments. But this is going to be video formatted content, so to say. But it's going to be focused on, let's say for episode 1 here, it's just going to kind of be on a either bi-weekly or bi-monthly, something like that. We haven't figured it out exactly. A way that the governor, the lieutenant governor, people in the executive branch, even myself, can talk to the people, can talk to the state, everyone around town, whether you're up in Paleto or down at the docks or even on Cayo, I guess, if you care enough for that. But yeah, this is just going to be a way that we can discuss and share the different details, the closed doors, the open doors, everything about that, directly from the mouth and the mind of the governor, lieutenant governor, everybody like that. It's an opportunity and a platform that's not written. It's something that really hasn't been done in the extent that we're doing, but we're going to test it out. We're going to see how that works. And this is something that will be posted on Twitter, something that can post on OnlyAds, something that'll be posted on different government websites and things like that. And there will be, we're still figuring it out, so don't take my word as law here, but we're going to see if we can have like a form where people can submit suggestions or questions or things like that directly for Governor Key to answer, for Lieutenant Governor Grace McCoy to answer, people like that. Again, this is something that could be open towards the legislature, towards state departments, police, all the above. So we're testing it out. We're trying new things. This is an opportunity to pretty much show what we have and really open the door and open the floodgates for clarification and just see where it goes from there. So that's kind of what we're working on. It's going to be a process and we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to it and it's going to be great, hopefully. So yeah,
Thank you
that's what
so
I got.
much.
And to add on to that, while yes, we do have the town halls once a month, like not everyone, as we kind of see, can attend these. While yes, we have it being filmed, not everyone wants to kind of sit through the whole 30 minutes. While I will argue that some of the conversation and the points that we had and discussion and asking questions about like things that are need to be updated for the legislature is good for the public to know about. So it's good that it did take place here. Not everyone has the patience to be able to sit through those kinds of things. So having it be short form, something quick and digestible that they can scroll past and see on their phone while they're looking at Twitter or when they're looking at OnlyAds and get the chance to put in that feedback based on what they see, gives us an opportunity and opens up a door for a lot more of the public to be able to know what's going on with what we're doing and be able to get their feedback heard. Because there's only so many of us, and there's so many other people in this fucking state there's no way we're going to be able to reach everybody on foot.
And one thing to add real quick, Mr. Governor, is if you have suggestions or ideas regarding something like this, please come and talk to me. I'm probably the most social, talkative person potentially in this room. Everyone knows me. Everyone knows what my business is when I'm not Secretary of State, when I'm not wearing this badge, this lanyard around my neck. Yeah, come talk to me. Let's legit make something happen, something unique, something that hasn't been done before, which is what we're doing with this. So let me know. Thanks.
Thank you, Link. Gracie, do you have anything? I know you're not feeling too great. I'll let you still speak for yourself here if you have anything.
No, I don't have anything new.
Okay. On my side, as Link brought up, we are trying to get those sick chats. We're going to call it communication is key. Yes, lame name, but still better than fireside chats and biting off of a former, president. So we're trying to get those together. We had our cabinet meeting at 6, which is before this. Let's see. Wow, I'm drawing a blank. There was something else I wanted to mention before I got into the bills. Well, it may come back to me. So we did have some bills passed upon the desk. The K-9 bill, which while yes, it took some time to sign, I was trying to get clarification from different individuals because there was a concern raised about potentially charges being stacked against individuals. And I just wanted to get clarification on that before I actually signed that into law. Did not want to oversight because as we have seen with our speaker working on the library of bills, there have been a lack of oversight with working with certain bills and people kind of not working out or reaching out to other individuals to make sure that everything was I's dotted and T's crossed. So now we have a bunch of different things that are conflicting with one another. So using that as an example, I want to try and do my best to make sure that I do have all my I's dotted and T's crossed before I do make a final decision on signing something into law, which includes the light bulb bill. I signed that in because I was informed that the work on that hadn't even started yet and it was far over budget and it made sense. While yes, we may want to go green, we can maybe find a better way of doing that fits within the budgets that we are allotted via the federal government. Lastly, yes, there was a veto put out for the infrastructure patrol bill that was updated. And that is because as I had communicated with multiple individuals within the government both within the government as well as outside of the government, they all agreed that while yes, the patrol part of it was not ideal, and it could be better, it is still better than not having it at all. While yes, we do have different agencies such as PD and such as SAS to be able to also work, it is still good to have another pair of eyes being able to look out and be able to see different parts of the infrastructure. For example, let's say a door is left open and not everybody is there, but the people that are doing the infrastructure patrols find that door open. They can then let somebody know that, hey, this door is open, and prevent a bad actor from being able to enter into that location and stir up trouble. And because of that, that is the reason why I felt that that was a need to stay and why I placed the veto on that bill. Other than that, I am legitimately drawing a blank on there's something else that we have done for the executive branch. Oh, yes. We are going to be reaching out and meeting with the different department heads. I did not have the chance to do that over the past 2 weeks. There have been a lot of things taking my time, both in state and out of state. But I am hopefully going to be able to be a lot more present over the next coming weeks after this week is over. So I should be able to be a lot more available when it comes to taking meetings versus only being able to do 2 or 3 a day and then having to go to sleep. Which is why it's been kind of difficult to be able to take a lot more meetings than I have. Any questions?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Not any questions. I just wanted to add on to the fire talk. I know that Fork FM is rising in popularity, and they have reached out to the legislative branch. I think the executive branch should 100% take advantage of that.
I think you're absolutely right on that, and that's probably something we will do. And you know, I mean, Maxie, we've known each other for a long time. You know, my specialty is visual over audio, and so no, you are absolutely correct. I think every department, everyone in this room who has a government badge or something, should take advantage of the media formats that are here, whether it's Euphoric, whether it's Weasel, whether it's Diatribes, whether it's Useless News, doesn't matter. I think we should all do it so there's clarity in the air for the people that we are out here supporting. That's just what should happen. Whether you fully agree with that or not, take advantage of what's given to us and even what's on the table that could be given to us. So, yeah, I'm all for that.
Agreed.
Yeah, media's sexy.
True.
Hey, yo.
Well, thank you for that update from the executive branch, and apologies again for forgetting you in my first swing through. My mistake. It sounds like we are about to have an unprecedented era in government transparency, which is exciting. And that, as a segue, we can open the floor now to public questions and answers. Yes, the gentleman in the raccoon mask raising their hand.
My name is Nocturna. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. For the light bulb project, I had a little light bulb in my head go off. We live on an island. The tides come in and they come out. That is inevitable. Why don't we petition for a tidal generator using natural resources to give us energy at all times?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Big brain raccoon.
I agree with the trash panda.
You heard it. He agrees.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
don't know if there's any input because I'm not sure whose department that would be, but thank you for sharing that. Absolutely.
We have a Department of Water and Power.
True story.
Fickle.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do not believe they are in attendance tonight.
Yeah, that'd probably be their department.
Ma'am. Other keynote, there is a department here that we have not heard from yet, and that's SAFR. They're here now.
Oh,
the
fantastic.
EMS department.
And PDO. PDO's here now as well.
Oh, fantastic. Let's hear from our missing departments during the first round. We can start with the PDO.
Hey, Adrian. She's got to go.
Kind of why I just said something.
Fire rescue, if you want to speak up now. While we wait for
Did Cypher say anything?
Hello?
I do not.
We,
I do
we
not
have
hear
nothing
anything.
to add.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you guys. Sorry.
No,
Thank
you're good.
you. And medical EMS. Unless they don't have anything to add, which is fine. Apologies, yes. I believe that is all departments. Like, do any departments still need to speak up or share an update with the public, or?
I think Adrian's still thinking, so I guess
Okay.
we could come back to her after questions if there's time, I guess.
Did they not hear you?
I don't hear shit. Is someone talking supposed over there?
No.
Oh.
Do you want me to just like cough really, really loudly?
The floor is still open for questions and answers from the public while we wait for Miss Jax to.
We got a
resolve
question
her
behind
thoughts.
me.
We got one
yes,
here.
Please.
Hi, my name is Kane. This is a question specific to Dockle.
Hi, what's up?
Hello. As it stands right now, I'm the events manager and personnel manager at Pearl Seafood. I've gotten calls from a couple of different businesses, as well as reached out to other businesses. No one seems to be able to turn their phones on for locals to call in for deliveries. Didn't know if you guys received word about that or if that's an ongoing issue.
I have absolutely no idea. It could just be a day where nobody's interested in some food. But I'm not too aware of what's going on with the phones.
Great. So businesses can't make money and he doesn't know why. Sig. That's all.
All right.
I know the public was concerned about the copyright. Is there any questions about the new copyright bill from the public? Any concerns? Any statements?
Yeah, I got a question. Under the new law, it only covers copyright. So is that like copyrights as it is in excuse me. Is that copyrights as it is in common law US, or like does it also include like patents and trademarks in it?
For now, copyright is being used as a catch-all term for any form of intellectual property. While we understand that there is a legal distinction in some courts and contexts for patents and trademarks, because this is such a new system, the Copyrights Act that we focused on putting out was meant to be very lightweight, artist first, and focused on protecting individual works as needed, which would include, for instance, trademarks like a brand or an invention idea like a patent if necessary. In the future, should this system be well used by the public and actually function, which it has yet to do so, we can look at expanding on it to further protect creators in more varied forms.
All right, and a follow-up question on that. If it's going to be used as a catch-all term, how would we distinguish the various types of it between the brands and the completed works and inventions, things of that nature?
So there is actually the Federal Copyright Act, which establishes a lot of what it requires to be a copyright. So, for instance, a certain level of creativity and transformative nature is required that would protect works in progress, as long as, you know, they are clearly a distinct thing. So, for instance, let's say you're using a brand, you're using fully pre-made, you know, stock photos with the iStock watermark on it. No, that would not necessarily be copyrightable. but a work in progress that just hasn't been, completed, but has been drawn and drafted and is distinct as a creative work would be protected.
All right, and just one more question on that. I saw, in order to prove that you're the original author of it, there was 2 qualifiers, and one of them was, I believe, possession of the original copy. Is that right?
Yes, essentially, let's say we'll use Clout Magazine as an example. Let's say somebody comes out and goes, "Hello, I own Clout Magazine. It's my copyright." I would be able to go, "While you have filed a copyright, I have been publishing this for 2 years. You can see the files on my computer." Obviously, there are going to be cases in which this might not be the safest way. For instance, if many artists are collaborating on a work, in that case, the form exists to register copyright with the government as a document, and also work for hire contracts, which allows a corporation to hire an artist, allow them to keep and create the work, and be the hands who craft it, but ultimately the copyright does go to the brand.
Okay, but the default would be that the artist owns the original artist owns the work.
Yes, unless a work for hire contract has been signed, a legal agreement, like a licensing agreement between the parties.
Doesn't know how to answer this. I need to just answer it for her.
The artist holds the highest right to copyright on their own intellectual property.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Of course, thank you for asking.
Speak up now. Speak up now.
All right. Question from Kane.
Yes, to kind of piggyback off of the previous discussion, a lot of times when we pass legislation with generalized vague terms, it's used an aspect of here's are your certain laws and criterias, and then as cases come up that involve copyright, just as a direct example, the direction of those cases in term create case law and library for later on people to acknowledge and exhibit in future cases. So if an individual had a case come up about copyright and they were proven right, then, later on down the line, if somebody tries to utilize copyright again, we have case law and case library that will show the similar situation showing the same output. Therefore, the vague term gets more specified as it's used more and more within the city. And the only time that it's amended is if it ever comes to a point where you're more bashing your head against the wall, trying to use both the legislation and the case library, then it is helpful. So it's one of those vague terms being put in place, so that way the city can enhance upon it in its use, rather than being a legislation that's more dictatorship over the direction of how copyright would then be used.
Copyright is obviously extremely complex, so we are open to revisiting it if things change. But yes, currently the intent is to allow things to go to court because there will be niche cases, and yes, that would be largely how the finer points are determined. Were there any additional questions from the public? Or is Miss Jax available for the update if she still wanted to give one?
What?
PDO?
Hi.
There's-
Hello.
Just, did you want to say anything on behalf of the department, or?
Apparently I want to push Lily. Yeah, sure. Okay. Hi. Hello. Hi.
That's
it's Adrian.
relatable, to be fair.
God, Lily, I'm sorry. Lily. I'll talk while Lily's figuring her stuff out. Yes, we are opening applications soon, TM. Anyway, yeah, we're opening applications soon, TM. We're just waiting for our applications to be available on the government website. I'm feeling a little scared right now, so I'm just gonna stop talking. Okay.
Okay, thank you for the update. One last call for questions from the public, and then we can wrap this and I'll go home.
There's a question from Lulu Moon.
Yes, absolutely.
I just wanted to have another question about protecting artists since we were on the subject, but more so like gang retaliation to music content type protecting artists. I just wanted to know if there's anything further as far as like for events, for example, like if there's like something past just having security guards protect us when a gang might show up when we're performing on stage.
I think that would be a question for LEO, or are you asking if there's like legal protection?
Yeah, just more so like, is there any way we can like either up charges or like just protect us further? Because there seems to be most recently a lot of like gang retaliation to music, and I feel like there should be something done about it, but I just don't know where or what would happen specifically for that to happen.
If I can just jump, I mean, the only real option you'll have is just to get better security.
Because there's just not much security, I guess,
Well,
right at the moment.
Change companies. There's not much else legally that can happen. It's just security companies or law enforcement, and law enforcement aren't gonna basically be protecting, like private events like a security company would.
I kind of want to piggyback off that a bit because there's been similar, we'll say, incidents in the movie industry where, like, it just seems to be an industry-wide problem in entertainment where retaliation and violent occurrences seem to be kind of an epidemic.
It is unfortunate people are immature and are attacking these businesses for doing, their jobs.
Even though I don't have an
In the court.
immediate solution to offer
Amen.
or like a person to point you towards, I do really appreciate you bringing that up because obviously that's horrible. We don't want that. And even though we don't have an immediate solution, being aware of the problem hopefully will lead to some brainstorming or ideas that can work towards a solution.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah, actually, I do have a question. What happens if, one of your, previous directors shoots at a gang first? Is that the fault of the company, he works for?
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, should the company be blamed for that? Is that in...
Wait, what is... I ask your lawyer?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Link, Marco wants to come in. Can you unlock it?
Yeah.
All right. Unless there are any last minute questions that I haven't heard, thank you so much to everyone for your attendance. This is vital for our democracy, and we always appreciate hearing what is on your mind. We will all individually be available, I'm sure, over the coming weeks until the next town hall meeting. So please be sure to check FedFinder on your phones to see when a government employee is available to help you.
Thank you so much.
I know a couple folks wanted to chat with Dockel. We'll be in the main lobby by the front desk if you need to speak to us.
If anyone needs to speak to a legislator or two, we'll be around as well. But have a good evening.
Hi,
Yes,
me
let's go
governor.
to the
I also
meeting.
around.
I have a call to go to.
The cops! Oh my God.
Please lock the doors behind you.